Yeah, so from now on, the session is recorded as well. Okay, let's wait 1 more minute. You can already join the WOOC lab when you're waiting. Okay, let's rock and roll. So, good morning to everyone. I think I already told you last Monday, it's not like my typical way of teaching to do it online, because I really like to get interaction and to see faces, and I'm just talking to a screen, so I have no clue if you understand the materials which I'm explaining. And I will promise you, the online lecture, this is the only online lecture. The rest will be physically to us. Um, During the lecture, because I still want to have interaction, that's why we also using WooClap as main communication tool to post your answers and things like that. But you are going to notice how it will work during the session. I really hope the kickoff made any sense for you guys, so you can have a great start this week. Luckily, you also have holidays next week, so that gives you 1 week extra to digest everything. For the ones who had the lecture for Jordi yesterday as well from Grove, I hope you liked that first week's lecture, and that you started like in a good way. If you have any questions, like in general, just unmute yourself, raise your hand so I can see if you want to have a question. Yeah, or use the chat or use the Discord. It's all fine. But please do ask if you have any questions. So make sure to join WooClap. Yeah, it's also to receive the tokens during the lecture, because at the end of the lecture I will check your answers and the communication and interactions, and then I think after lunch I will send you some tokens, and every week I will send an update as well. So then you can check how much tokens you earned. To start with, what's very important, sometimes I will just ask you, okay, before, let me give an example. Like Siga gives a perfect answer. I say, okay, Siga, please send me a DM with your public key, because then I know where to send the tokens to. Yeah, but everything will speak for itself. Um, okay, so I hope you all joined the WOOC lab. Yeah, the first week is maybe the most important week. Like the term ledgers and ledgernomics is like the most important part, because blockchain is nothing more than a distributed, decentralized ledger, which you're going to learn in all the materials and also during this session. Um, so the schedule. I see a message. Just here, your camera's on. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes, thank you for noticing. Okay. So yes, last we are going to recheck like very quickly recap last Monday. So which deadlines do we have? Which type of assignments do we have? You are going to do a very short introductory assignment. Normally that would have been physically, but now we're going to introduce ourselves via Discord to get to know your fellow students a bit more. Also becoming handy if you are going to do the group assignments later on during the course to see, okay, I maybe like this student or that student to work with. Then it's going to be a more fun part. At least for me, I always like to do quizzes and things like that. I'm going to test your basic knowledge regarding blockchain technology. We are going to start like with a very easy question, and it's going to be 10 different types of questions, and it's all material related to the 15 ECT course part. So don't get stressed if you don't know answers, because at the end of the minor, you definitely can give answers to all those topics. Yeah. Um, we are going to discuss a few portfolio questions from this week as well. So make sure to make notes. That will save you some time doing the portfolio, of course. We will check at the end, so do Q&A if there are like any general questions, maybe about Brightspace deadlines or whatever else. And at the end, like every week, we will have like a WOOC Lab quiz as well to check if everything what I told you during the lecture made any sense. Yeah? Okay. So let's check. Yes, the deadlines. So the very first deadline is already coming Sunday. It's like for your portfolio week 1. So every week you can hand in your weekly portfolio. Is it mandatory? No, it's not mandatory. I already explained during the kickoff. But if you want to receive feedback, like during portfolio session, then it's mandatory to have handed it in. Because we will check with our laptops when we are there. Oh, but you did not hand in any. Okay, so no, I'm not going to provide you with any feedback. Same goes for the teach the teacher. The final deadline for the teach the teacher is like 1 week later, so in week 7. And then at the end of week 9, you will have your deadline for the group assignment. For the teach the teacher, like most of you have chosen the growth track, I suppose. So for that, that's the same deadline as the teach the teacher. So the end of week 7, it's either the teach the teacher or the growth. Yeah, I think that's the most important about the deadlines. Yes, so the last check before we start, I can't join the WOOC Lab. Okay, if you use this QR code or scan this one, what I also can do is like maybe within this way, I will share the link here as well, Yasir, so you can, and if that doesn't work, okay, perfect, yeah. Okay, so, yeah, the schedule. Yeah, I already have the schedule, of course. I have like a 1,000 different types of schedules. Let me see. So I will post this one. So should be the one, right? Never mind. So this week is a little bit different. Like it's on Wednesday, a lecture, normally at Wednesday. So after the holidays, every Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock, we will have a Q&A session. The Q&A sessions are online. On Tuesdays, it's like a growth day every Tuesday. And on Monday mornings, I will give the physical classes at TUAS. Monday afternoon, it's time for the excellent track students. Small reminder, like if you would like to join the excellent track, then fill in the form, but we will discuss that in the coming minutes. And on Friday, we just discussed, Koen and myself, like it was scheduled for this Friday already, but we are going to start with Koen's lectures from week 3 on. So week 3, week 4, 5, and 6, Koen will give lectures on the Friday. So not for this week, because otherwise it's going to maybe a little bit too much for the first week. And then you already have learned the basics, and he's going to deep dive on the basics on the Fridays with you. Okay. So I can close this one. The info doc, yeah, just if you want to have basic knowledge about the course, about everything, just take 5 minutes to see and to read everything, mostly related to all types of assignments, so what you can expect about the AI disclosures, about the schedule, and below you can find the most frequently asked questions by your previous fellow students. You can find a lot of information in here. Yeah, the Google Forum. When I checked last time, I saw only a few of you registered, but please do so before Sunday because you have to give up your track here. So if you're going to follow track A, which is just the regular track, or B with growth, Jordi wants to know as well, because then I can let Jordi know, okay, these are the students who are going to follow track B. And if you want to do a specialized track C, then write an email to Koen. Yeah, so don't forget to do that, and to also include your public key from MetaMask. Yeah, just a small reminder. This is for the excellent track, so if you are interested to learn more about the course, to challenge yourself, to learn how to trade, to do more practical stuff within blockchain, to work with different types of wallets, and especially on-chain related tools, please take a look at this one. But that's only if you are able to, or if you want to learn more, and it will take more time as well. Okay, this is already a pretty difficult, so don't get shocked if you don't get it at once. But yeah, I have to teach you this in the very first lecture because we are going to use this from this lecture. This is what is called a contract address. This is the contract address, so the wallet address, like to be add to the contract address of the token which we are going to work with during this miner. I will share the contract address right here, because you can just copy paste it later on if you want to import it in your MetaMask account. I'm going to show you the steps. So now you have to do something very difficult. I know it's difficult. I was a student once myself as well. You have to do two things. So you have to listen, and you have to do to open up the MetaMask and to do the stuff at the same time. So please make sure to open up your MetaMask. We're going to do this very slowly. And if you have any questions, if it doesn't make any sense, it's recorded as well, so you can also always rewatch, or you can even watch YouTube videos with explanatory videos as well. So open up MetaMask, and then the first thing you have to do is you have to switch to a different network. Like within MetaMask, automatically it will open up with the Ethereum network. We are not going to use the Ethereum network. We are going to use a test network because I don't want to pay ETH. I just want to work with free tokens for now. So within the tokens, you have like different tabs. You go to tokens, and then for you, it would be like this one. So ETH. But now you have to change to custom, and then to the Sepolia testnet ETH. So you have to switch to Sepolia testnet ETH. If that doesn't work, let me know. So switch from ETH to the test network Sepolia ETH.
Jamie, can it be that we need to configure it first?
That's, yeah, with some, that could be the case. Yeah. So then you have to go to settings. And then let me see, I think advanced. Yeah, and to advanced settings, and then you have to show test networks. So normally it's off, and then it has to be turned on. But it depends on your device as well. So if you don't see the test networks, go to advanced settings and go to show test networks and put it on. Thank you for the question. And again, this is already pretty technical. So if you can manage this, kudos. Um, so if you can see Sepolia, you're already halfway there. For me, you can see like different types of tokens. Sepolia is like the utility token which is needed to use the network. You don't need it necessarily, but which one do you need is like the BQA. That's the name of the token we are going to use. It stands for blockchain, quantum, and AI. If I press on this one, you can see the contract address, and that's the exact same one as I just shared with you. But what you are going to do is you're going to this three dots, and you're going to press on import tokens. Okay, and then you should see Sepolia because we already select Sepolia. And then here you're going to copy paste the contract address. For me, it says, yeah, you already have added the address. For you, you can see, okay, that's the BQA token, and then you press on next. And then again, it will show you your balance probably or something like that. And your balance is still 0 because I didn't send any tokens yet. But if you imported the token, then from now on, you're able to see the tokens which I will send to you. If you won't do these steps, you will never see the tokens in your wallet. You can receive them, but you will never see them. So first step, to recap, switch the networks from Ethereum to Sepolia, then import the token via these dots. Yeah, and use the contract address.
Jamie, can you please post the address in the chat that we can copy
Yeah,
paste it?
I did. In the Discord general chat.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. That's a pro tip. Always make sure, yes, thank you, Saul, that if you are following lectures, especially from me, but also from Koen and Jori, I think mostly when I share something, I will just use the Discord. So not in a Teams chat, because within the Discord chat, everybody is able to see it instantly. And we can refer to very easily later on. Yes, so open up your Discord chat in the background. Okay. So, congratulations if you passed for this part. This is already like a pretty technical part. Yeah, so from now on, the fun begins because you can receive the tokens and it's visible to show. Yeah, so contract address. Bam, finished. Okay, if you have any questions, I'm not going to use this one, just ask me. Yeah, unmute yourself or use WooClap to ask your questions or Discord or the Teams. For me, everything is fine. Okay, a little bit of fun. Who are you? Yes, you. Like most of the students, and including myself, most of you I don't know. And we are convinced that like if you get to know your fellow students a little bit better, your learning curve will grow significantly. So what we will do next, you will get like a few minutes to just introduce yourself. And I just created a few sub questions which can help you out. But if you think, oh, I can introduce myself in my own way, that's also fine. But what can help you is like, what's going on? I see like the chat popping up. Let me check. Can you post a network that we need to support? Yes, thank you, Saul. Saul, please send me a DM. You will earn some extra tokens for helping out other students. Okay, don't forget to add your public key. Okay, so for the introductory, just write like a small message in the Discord with your name, your age, the study you're currently following. So not the blockchain miner, but what's your major? Yeah, how would you describe yourself in one sentence? I always liked your most successful moment. So what was or what is maybe currently because you just completed the MetaMask task. What's your most successful moment? Why you choose this course? Was it just the last one where you could just subscribe to, or do you like to learn more? Anything about blockchain or AI or quantum or what else? And what do you hope to achieve during this minor? You will get like 5 minutes to take the time. I will also make a screenshot of this one and drop it in the Discord chat. So take the time to introduce yourself. And there is like a pro tip. Yeah, try to be the best version, especially for the group projects, which will come at the end of the minor. So students can go back and scroll back and see, oh, I really like what this student wrote. So maybe they want to work with me. Yeah, so 5 minutes. I see a lot of students are already typing. And if there are any questions in general about anything else, you can also ask me right now. Yeah.
Hello, I've got a question regarding when we'll receive our grades. How long does it usually take you to grade everything and for us to get
That's
the
a
grades? Because
wonderful question, Lennox. That's a wonderful question. And I think that's the most frequently asked question as well. Not quite sure if the answer is in the info doc, but I really want to explain this. Like normally, we are trying to grade your work within 1 week. That's pretty fast, especially if you compare it to the standards of the rest of the universities, I suppose. But it also depends on the amount of students. Currently, we have a lot of students, like previous minor, this one, I think it's more than 500. But until now, we managed it for all the assignments to grade them within 1 week. So mostly it will be within 1 week. So, like if you hand in, for example, on the final deadline on Sunday, then 1 week later on Monday or Tuesday, your grades will be shared. And then they will be visible in Brightspace. The update to Osiris will take a little bit of more time, of course. But I can't promise, I can't guarantee you that 7 days. And if it's not 7 days, then it will be 14 days. But most of the time, it will be within 1 week. Yeah.
okay, in that case, since students than usual, is it also possible to ask for like early release for personal grades or to like find out if we, because in my case, I would need to know if I passed for me to move on to my graduation internship because I'm just missing this 15 credits for me to be able to start my graduation internship.
Okay. Are you an old student or you just started the course right now?
I just
Or
started right now.
Okay, what you should do is create a ticket and let us know that you have to be graded faster. Yeah, because then maybe I can't guarantee anything, but maybe it's possible that you can hand in your assignments like a little bit earlier, especially the final deadline assignments. Yeah, but create a ticket for
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Okay. And then am I also correct in assuming that to pass the whole or to get all 15 credits, all of the components need to be a pass, and you don't just get 5 credits for passing a portfolio, but then the other ones are missing?
Um, Ask that in the ticket as well. So create a ticket and ask the two
Okay.
things. Yeah,
All right.
that's
I
it.
Yeah.
actually I
Thank
have
you very
And
much.
a
yeah, yeah.
portfolio. Sorry.
Sorry?
Yeah, I have a question about the portfolio, the first week of that. It looks to me that we don't need to use sources so far because it says in the brackets that, oh, based on this. I did not look into it much, so I'm not sure yet. But do we need to use sources already from the first week or from the second week?
Every
The
week.
credible.
Yeah.
Okay, every week. Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, thanks.
Great question. Yeah, every week. Yeah, yeah. Okay, one more minute to drop your introductory message. Yeah, guys, of course, post your answers in English, as this is like an English speaking minor. Uh, Even if your English is not so good, just do it in English, because otherwise, like 90% of the students won't understand what you're reading. And so, Gijs, added it to the English language. Oh, I read. You're living in Leiden. It's a great city, right? Born and raised there. Okay, so we're not going to read everything right now because that will take like the 2 hours, but you can just take your time to read and after the lecture and to get to yeah, your fellow students a bit more. Maybe after the holidays, we're going to do this, something with this in class. Okay, so it's time to test your basic knowledge about blockchain. Again, don't get stressed. One time I had like 3 girls who got really stressed during the break of this, and they came to me during the lecture and they said, okay, but if this is it, I don't want to follow the lectures anymore because it really didn't make any sense. And now I feel very stupid. And I said, no, it's just a test in advance. And I can assure you at the end, you can explain everything to me. Yeah, sometimes it looks very technical, but yeah, it's a kind of a technical minor. Most questions will be focused on blockchain for those 10 test questions. Um, just try until which question you can give the answer for yourself. And if you can give the answer, then we can just use the Teams chat to say, okay, yes, per slide. If you answered yes, then I can randomly ask one of the students to try to give an explanation about the term. I don't expect you to explain it like on a very professional level, but just give it a shot. Yeah? And the winner, so the student or maybe more students who can give answers to the latest slides, they will receive the most amount of tokens. Yeah? First one, first slide. So use the Teams chat if you know and if you maybe can explain the answer. Ledger. So, what is a ledger? If you can explain, then write yes. Is there nobody who can explain what a ledger is? That is the only one? Nah, I cannot imagine that. There has to be more students. I will just wait. Yes, I guess, but that's good. So just give it a try. We're not going to like if you don't know, then just give it a try. Then yeah, okay, a bit kind of a financial record. Oh, don't give the answer. Only put on yes. Only put on yes. Okay, so Rania, could you please unmute yourself and try to explain your answer? So what is a ledger?
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I think a ledger is like a financial record where all the financial information of companies are stored,
Yeah,
like from
that's
financial
correct.
perspective.
That's
Yeah.
correct. Thank you. Someone else wants to give their answer about ledgers, so maybe they have like a different answer or want something to add. Raymond, how would you explain a ledger?
The only thing I could think of, because I have one myself, is to store my crypto on it. But I don't know if there's any other.
That's a
things that
ledger. That's like you have a nano ledger, for example. Yeah, that's also a
Yeah.
ledger. But like the term
Yeah.
ledger is like a very broad term. Like a ledger is like in general is nothing more like a guiding material to record transfers. Most of the time in our world, it's about financial transfers, but it could also be about electricity or like if you what is it? Like as a teacher at the university, when I'm entering to us, I have like a card where I have to sign in, which says, okay, Jamie is at TUAS right now. So then it will be recorded into the TUAS ledger. So ledger is a very broad topic. Why do we explain ledgers within blockchain technology? That will make sense in the coming slides. Yeah. So if you think, okay, ledger, not very clear to me, then make sure to focus on this week's material because it's fully integrated and fully about ledgers and different type of ledgers. Yeah. So most like the best given example is it's used or like a book or like an application to keep a record of transfers and most of the time transactions. Yeah. Okay, thank you for your answers. Next one, Bitcoin. And just give it a try. Don't be shy. That's a good question, Daniel. Most of the time, try to do. It's kind of difficult because we switched my lectures from Friday to Monday. But for your learning curve, it's way better to already have read the materials before the lecture. Yeah. You can also do it afterwards, but then the lecture itself, it's like pretty difficult. Okay, I see a lot of yeses. Guus. I really like the name Guus. Like my baby boy. His name is also Guus. Give it a try, Guus. You're muted, so we can't hear you. Not quite sure if you already unmuted yourself. Guus. I unmuted, I tried at least. Okay, yeah, there's also a wrong. Okay, then never mind. We'll try someone else. Siga, can you unmute yourself? Not able to hear you. Oh, you have the same message as Guus. Okay. Yeah, never mind. This isn't a problem. Yasir, can you unmute yourself?
Do you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Well, yeah, I don't know how I would explain it perfectly, but I just say it's one of the most popular blockchains available right now and the most expensive. Like that's how I would explain it, I guess.
I mean,
I don't
you're
know.
right on track.
Yeah.
You already mentioned the most important
Yeah.
term, which is blockchain.
Yeah.
And it's indeed the biggest one by far. If you compare market caps, so the total value of the token related to other tokens, yeah, it's by far the biggest, the most valued blockchain. Yeah, okay, perfect. Someone else wants to give an explanation about Bitcoin. Let me see. David.
Yeah, so as Yasser already said, it's probably the most well-known cryptocurrency based on blockchain. And yeah, people are not quite sure who really invented it. A lot of people say it was like Satoshi Nakamoto. Maybe it's an individual person, maybe it's a group of people. And I think the most important point about it, the reason why it became so popular actually was like to show the financial system how broke it is, and to have a decentralized system so that it's more, yeah, democratic and can be controlled by by a few powerful people. But I think nowadays maybe this changed actually, since a lot of big companies or even, yeah, states and countries are investing in it. And maybe we will see in the future that it's not the gold standard anymore. Maybe it will be the Bitcoin standard, yeah, in the future. But yeah, I think the reason why it became popular and why it was invented really much changed in the last few years, to be honest.
Okay, wow. Thank you for your addition. Well done. Yes, everything you said is true. And Bitcoin is indeed it's the biggest blockchain. We don't know the creator. It's indeed it's guessing, or maybe it's an individual, maybe it's indeed a group or a group of hackers or whatever else. Could be anyone. Okay, so that's about Bitcoin. Now we're going to do the next term, blockchain. Because it seems like that everybody in the world knows Bitcoin, but if you then ask blockchain, they say, never heard about that one. It's going to get a little bit more technical, but you can give an example of Bitcoin within blockchain. And like Bitcoin is an example of a blockchain, but what is blockchain? Blockchain technology, what is it? I see a few yeses. 100% sure that more people can try to give an explanation about blockchain. We are here to learn more, right? So you can't make any mistakes. Okay, Miriam, give it a try.
Um, I think blockchain is like a technology that stores information in blocks. So they're linked together in a chain, and every block got like another story. I don't know if this makes sense.
Yeah, you did a pretty good job. Like you mentioned a few key components, like it's all about storing data, so storing information. Within Bitcoin, it's storing transfers, so Bitcoin transfers from A to B, transfer of value. It's linked, so blocks are linked to each other. Thank you for your answer, Miriam. Is there somebody else who can add some other important components within blockchain? Danish?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I wanted to look into the technical aspect because of my IT background dish. And I've read that it's formulated in hashes. So the blocks are made from hashes, your unique code, and the combination of blocks makes a sort of chain of hashes. And this is also found in like mining Bitcoin. So you're basically looking for a hash combination to basically mine a blockchain. You're not mining the currency. I think you're mining the chain, if I'm recalling
Yeah,
correctly.
you're mining Bitcoins
Yeah,
by securing the system. Yeah.
yeah.
Well done. Nice addition. And that's like why we call all those different types of blockchains cryptocurrencies. So that's where the term cryptocurrency is coming from. Cryptocurrency means like that a currency is cryptographically secured. Like within Bitcoin, the blocks are linked to each other in a secured way because every hash from a block is connected to a previous block. And I know, but I like it's too bad I can't see your faces right now because I know like 20, at least 25 students right now thinking, what the hell is he talking about? Week 2, we are going to explain this into the very detail, and you can explain me at the end of the lecture. But for now, it's about storing data. The data is linked to each other and is secured via a secured algorithm, a cryptographically secured algorithm. Yeah, that's enough for now. Okay, perfect. Next one. Untraceable. No, because Bitcoin transactions are open and transparent, so it's not anonymous. Especially in these days, like most of the time with all the regulation, if you want to buy your Bitcoin, you have to buy that 99% of the cases via exchanges. Then you have to do KYC, and then there is made a connection, so one data point to a wallet, so everybody and every big institution and governments know that you are the owner of that Satoshi. Yeah, if you were lucky enough to own Bitcoin like already 10 years ago, then you maybe can be anonymous. But in the future, that is becoming less and less. There are other blockchains who have the utility and the use case of being anonymous. Monero, for example, or Zcash. But like with a Bitcoin, that's not the case. Like it's very transparent and you can retrace all transactions back to like the Genesis part. So yeah, for Bitcoin, that's not the case. Even though a lot of people are screaming that, no, don't believe those people. Okay, the next term, distributed decentralized ledgers. This sounds very technical. It's not. And the picture can maybe help you out. Let me see how many yeses I see. So distributed, what does distributed means? What does decentralized means? Raymond, I really love that. Like in simple words. Yes, please explain it in simple words. Because if you can explain it in simple words, you understand the materials.
Yeah, just like the picture, the decentralized ledger, it connects between two sites, and the centralized type of ledger, it goes first all the you say yeah all the transactions, they come to the same system, and then it gets to the final point. And in decentralized, it's only two parties.
Yeah, okay,
But the
thank you.
distribution part, I
Yeah.
can't.
It's pretty good. And to help you out for like the next time, if you want to explain what it is, you can mention the term trusted third parties. Like in the centralized system, and if you think about it for a bit more, like the most applications we use nowadays are very centralized, and in Google, Facebook, Instagram, all those social media applications. So all our data points are stored in a and are like recorded by one owner, like the trusted third party. So for Google, we trust Google to keep our data secure. If you remove the trusted third party for centralized parties, you'll have a problem because then nobody is going to bring that service for you. Blockchain brings in the decentralized component. So you don't have to trust the middleman, you don't have to trust the third party, but you only trust each other. So you trust every participant of the network. That's what distributed and decentralized means. Again, later on, you will learn way more about this. I can explain all the topics in week 1, but then I think I will lose you all. Yeah. But then you know, okay, what is coming for the coming sessions and the coming lectures. NFTs. Let me see, Rania, can we say that they decentralized? Can we say that decentralized, that there is no specific authority that controls the blockchain? Yes, indeed, Rania, that's true. You are like within decentralized and distributed blockchains. Everybody who is participating is just following a set of rules, mostly a programmably written, so by a smart contract, and we just follow those rules. And you don't have to trust an intermediary. David, could you please explain NFTs?
Yeah, so probably most of you have also like gotten the hype in the media from I think it was like 2020, something like that. And as you can see here in the picture, like I think the monkeys were the most well-known NFTs. And basically what it is, it gives so the term means non-fungible token. And what happens is you have a unique image, for example, or a unique thing can also be something else than an image. And you give it a sort of an ID, so it becomes unique and it gets the value by being this unique piece. So yeah, you can copy it and maybe when you look at it, it looks the same, but like the code in the background, the ID that is stored there, it is only there once. And that why, yeah, during that time, sometimes you could see people making like 10,000 with this one image. And yeah, nowadays we lost the hype again, but yeah, it's for changing these virtualized IDs, so to say.
Wow, David. I think I couldn't explain it better. Thank you. Yeah, so it stands for non-fungible tokens. Indeed, the liquidity, like the volume, is fully out of the market. Like a few years ago, I think it was 2020, like an extreme hype was going on. And indeed, the Bored Ape was the most, like the biggest one back then. Like if you $100,000 or $200,000 you have to spend for one specific ape, and people were paying that like because they believed in the technology behind it. And of course it's a blockchain technology, but then more specifically related, and we are going to explain that topic like in week 6 of the minor. Yeah. So again, don't get stressed if it's too much for now. Yeah, I will promise you, you will get to know everything. Okay, a little bit more technical. Cryptography. I think mostly IT related students can answer this question. It is also a key component for the Blockchain 50 initiative. And for blockchain in general. What is cryptography? I only see 3 yeses. No more. Okay, we'll skip the explanation because we are going to watch a video about this one.
In this video from IT Free Training, I will look at the 2 basic types of encryption that are used in computing. I will also look at how these 2 types of encryption can be used together in order to improve performance.
Can you hear the sound? Just the sound check of the video? Yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah.
And security. These fundamentals will help you deploy encryption later on and improve your understanding of how certificates work. In today's environment, encryption is an important part of computing. In order to keep your files secure and have secure communication, you need to use encryption. Encryption is the process of taking data and encoding it into a form that cannot be read by unauthorized people. There are 2 types of encryption schemes that are used. These are symmetric key and public key encryption. First of all, I will start with symmetric key as this is the easiest to understand. Symmetric key encryption uses the same key to encrypt data as to decrypt data. This generally makes it faster than public key encryption. The problem with this method of encryption is in order for data to be decrypted, the key must be available. This causes two problems. The first problem is the key needs to be stored securely. If an attacker were to gain access to this key, they could decrypt any data that key was used to encrypt. It is common for symmetric keys to be stored in a safe place and only accessed when required. The next problem is if another party needs to decrypt the information. In order for this to occur, a secure channel needs to be used to transfer the key. For example, a common practice is for the key to be transferred using the telephone. Public key encryption uses two keys, a public and private key.
And this is the type of encryption we are using for blockchain technology. Maybe some of you already recognize the terms. The private key, which we told you during the kickoff, is the key you will never ever share with anybody else, like the 12 words. And the public key is like your wallet address, which you want to share because there you can receive your tokens on.
To illustrate, imagine that two people want to communicate with each other. In between them is a third party that is trying to eavesdrop on their conversation. With traditional encryption that uses the same key, the problem is getting the key to the second party without the third party obtaining the key. With public key encryption, the public key is required to encrypt traffic, however, it does not need to be secured. If a third party were to obtain the public key, they would not be able to decrypt any data that was encrypted using it. In order to decrypt the data, you require the private key. The private key needs to be stored securely, but the advantage is the encryption can occur without the private key. This means the private key never needs to be transferred, and thus there is no chance that it can be intercepted by the third party. You may wonder exactly how a system like this can work. The mathematics behind it are complex and beyond the scope of this video, but I will give you a summary of how it works. When data is encrypted using the public key, it is done in a way where there is a large number of possible solutions available. In order to decrypt the data, you would need to test every single solution until you find the right one. Although possible, depending on how big the key is that is being used, the process could take 100 years. If you have the private key adds enough information to the puzzle so that there is only one solution. It is kind of like having a prize behind a series of numbered doors. If you know which door the prize is behind, it is easy to find the prize. Without this information, you are forced to try every door or choose one at random. Public key encryption is generally slower when compared to symmetric key encryption, and thus, even though it has advantages over symmetric key, you will find, for reasons of performance, symmetric key will be used instead of public key encryption.
Okay, so this is enough for now. And again, next week, so in week 2 after the holidays, we are going to focus on cryptography and then especially related to blockchain. And then we will use like the public and the private key encryption. So what is it? How does it work? Why do we need that for blockchain technology? Okay, so now I will do a few more. At 11, we will have a break. Yeah, a few more. Miners. So in this case, Bitcoin miners. Who wants to give it a try? It has been in the news for decades already. And to be fair, like I think I read 2 weeks ago there was like one miner who have won the battle one time and he earned like 6.25 bitcoins. So what is a miner? I see constantly like the same people answering yeses, but I think others who are not using the chat right now can also give it a try. Just dare to try. Let me see. Yeah, you saw I want to give you, but I'm not quite sure if we can hear you because you have like a strange image after your name. Please unmute yourself. Give it a try.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, as far as I know, in easy terms, miners are really big and powerful computers that solve, really hard mathematical questions to get to the hash, I think. And it also is really bad for your PC. So if you have a PC at home, please don't do it.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Yes, in shortly, to recap, to summarize, like a miner is needed to keep the network secure. So if we talk about the Bitcoin network, we have miners. So that are like the workers who are going to who want to keep the network secure by calculating hashes to find the correct hash. If they have found the correct hash, they will get rewarded with bitcoins for that. Like as a solo miner, so if with an individual desktop or laptop, it's almost not possible to win the race because there is a lot of computational power distributed across the world to who are competing with each other every 10 minutes because a block is created every 10 minutes. And you have like thousands of computers, very big, fast computers, who are trying to win that race and to make the calculations at the same time. But what I was just telling you, like 2 weeks ago, there was a solo miner, so just a random guy from his laptop who was able to win the race. But that happens very occasionally. So he received like a few hundred K with his solo desktop to win the race. But normally that's like a pretty small chance. So we're not going to watch this video, but like on YouTube or on Google, you can find a lot of different sources to get like an understanding of those mining rig islands which you will have. And this is a famous example about Iceland. So it's below the ground. Why in Iceland? Because it's colder there, so it will keep the computers not to heat them up too much because of the temperature. But there are like thousands of mining rigs trying to compete and to win those races. But the problem, or is there's not only one party who's doing that. There are like a lot of parties or investors who are trying to win that race. What you can think about is okay, but the more computing power you have, the bigger the chance it will increase the chance to win the race. It will not guarantee that you will win the race because then it would be very centralized, but it will increase the possibility to win the race. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I have a question. Before you said that there are like general rules that like people in decentralized ledgers have to follow. Is like the miners also subject to those rules as well?
Yeah.
Or do they kind of have their own rules?
No, they everybody have to follow the same rules. Everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good question. And like as an end user, like I've never been a miner myself, but in the past I used the Bitcoin network a lot. Unfortunately, not anymore. I don't own any Bitcoin anymore. Like if I'm giving financial advice, don't listen to that. But within Bitcoins, like as an end user, you don't have to understand what really happens. You're just using wallets and you can just send transactions. But what's happening behind the scene is that it is just a quick checklist if your transaction is like following the rules. So where is the transaction coming from? Who is sending the transaction? Which is me, and I am probably the owner of the private key because otherwise I wouldn't own that specific Bitcoin, etc. But everybody who is participating, so even if it is a user, a miner, a node, which is also compared to miners, but later on about that we will tell you more. So every participant has to follow the same set of rules. Yes. Okay, so the Bitcoin's approach. Yeah, you can just see like, if we talk about ledgers, so about blocks in the case of Bitcoin, you can see like every block is a new page. So every 10 minutes, a new page is going to be used, a clean page. And if you go back to the previous page, you will get the data points from the previous blocks, all the way back to the very first block mined in 2009. This looks very difficult. Actually, it's not. And I will recap it, I think, after the holidays a few times more. But this is how Bitcoin works. I will also share a slide here. So if you think in 1 hour, what actually did Jamie tell us about Bitcoin, then you can refer to this screenshot. I actually use this screenshot from my own master about cryptocurrencies, and I really like this example a lot. So how does this mining process works? Like, it's 3 easy steps. So first, I hope you all know by now that blocks are linked to each other. So every block is linked to each other, and every block is using hashes. Like, all the data is just being hashed as one simple hash, and every block is using a hash. So if you want to bring in or like want to compete, you have to follow the rules. So first you have to compile the previous hash from the previous block, because that's the link to the previous block, all the transactions of the current block, and the random nonce. And that's where the most important part of Bitcoin comes. Because the random nonce, that's the piece of the puzzle where all the miners are going to race for. It's just a random number which has to be guessed. And we also call that mechanism the proof of work. So you have to put in a lot of power, computational power, to find that correct number. That number could be a 0, but that would be guessed pretty fast and pretty easily. Like, an average miner is calculating, I think, 10 million numbers in 1 second, maybe even more nowadays. So a lot of numbers are being guessed, and when that one is correctly guessed, including all the other data points, then the miner is going to show his answer, like his final answer, to the rest of the network. Everybody is going to check if all the data parts are indeed correct, and then it will be added to the blockchain. So in the end, it will be like a hash again. The hash is expected. Is it yes? Okay, it's correct. Yeah, fine, it will be produced. And if not, it will be rejected. And another miner can give it a try. Yeah. And if it indeed is correct, then the miner will receive the rewards immediately. Yeah. Again, we are going to explain this in more technical details as well. Yeah. Yeah. Let me see if it's still correct. Yeah, and after this one, I will promise you will have deserved your 10 minutes break. Yeah. So last part. This is like the tokenomics of Bitcoin. That's why a lot of people are paying a lot of money. Of one of the reasons, because Bitcoin has a maximum supply of 21 million tokens, and every block, new tokens are created until the supply has been reached, the 21 million, which is in the year 2140, so in 114 years from now. But until then, Bitcoins are going to be created. Every 4 years, the Bitcoin halving is taking place. So that means every 4 years, the Bitcoin rewards are going to be cut in two. So in 2024, yeah, you had like, let me see, 2020, it was 6.25, but now we're in 2026, and in 2024, so 1.5 years ago, Those 6.25 were divided into 2. So currently, if you win a block, if you produce a block, you will receive 3.125 Bitcoin, which is currently like, what's the price? 70K times 3.25, so it's still 200K more, which are going to be rewarded with in dollars, but 3.125 Bitcoin. Yeah, and then in 2028, 4 years later, that will be divided in 2 as well. Yeah, so the supply is less and less and less and less. Until 2140, and then there will be no more supply added. Yeah? Okay.
Excuse me, could I ask something?
Yeah. I think I
Um,
can already guess what you're going to ask.
Okay, I'll give it a try anyway. Once the point has been reached in
Yeah, I
2140,
thought you were
will
going to ask
Bitcoin
that question.
will Bitcoin have like a standardized value since there's no like reason to pursue mining anymore? Would it have
Yeah,
like
that's the main.
a fixed?
That's one of the key questions people are asking, because okay, but if it's 2140 and miners will not receive any rewards for bitcoins anymore, why the hell would you produce blocks, right? Now, the answer to
Yes.
that, I can't guarantee because I can't take a look in the future. But what Satoshi, so the creator of Bitcoin, wrote is like what he suspects, and until now he's pretty damn right, because the value of Bitcoin is already increased so much, and what he thinks, like in 130 years from now, if it's still being used, only the transaction fees are enough to keep the people incentivized to use the network. Because for producing a block, you will receive not only bitcoins, but also transaction fees.
Interesting.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Okay, it's 11:06 now. I'm going to grab a cup of coffee myself as well. I hope to see you back in 11:16, and then we're going to do the second part. We're almost finished with the quiz, by the way. Yeah, we're doing a great job together. So 11:16, see you back. Very cool, Ziga. I'm just reading the introductory. Very cool to see what you already have working on. Nice. Semi-pro kickboxer. Okay, nice. Also from Leiden. A lot of students from Leiden. Oh, David, reading about AI voice agents. But you're also going to incorporate cryptography, like blockchain tech with that? Because probably having a break. Raymond, you're also from Leiden? Or no 70 is The Hague or not? What's that?
Yeah, it's here in the egg.
Yeah, The Hague, yeah. Limburg. I really love to read about I really like this part. Okay, is it already 1 more minute? Hey, before we're going to continue, I became like happy last few days because a lot of students, couple of students reached out about a few more questions regarding the excellent track. And the most frequently asked question I received was like, do we as teachers expect that you already have some basic knowledge? No, nothing. So you can start with zero. That's like the most exciting thing about the track because we are also thinking about making it like for other universities in the future. So we don't expect you to have any basic knowledge. I can explain you a bit more about the track, but then I will do that like at the end of the lecture. So if you're interested to learn more, maybe to see a few documents together or anything else, or if you have any questions, then feel free to just stay a few more minutes at the end of the lecture so I can ask or I can answer a few questions about that. Yeah. Um, okay, so back to the slide deck. Centralized and decentralized exchanges. Yeah, this is a very famous term or topic within the world of cryptocurrencies and blockchain. Especially these days, when the volume is getting out of the market, people are getting frustrated about centralized exchanges. Is there anyone who maybe can give or try to give an explanation about centralized or decentralized exchanges? What do you think it's about? Nobody? Or everybody's still getting their coffees? No one wants to give it a try? Can? I think some of you are able to explain at least one centralized exchanges, maybe. Nobody wants to give it a try.
Isn't it the same as the ledgers? Just all the transactions, they go to a third party, and they control or they check the transaction. So the decentralized exchange is like, I believe, Uniswap.
That's a decentralized exchange. Yeah, yeah, but but your
Yeah,
explanation
the
was like
transaction
near.
is direct.
Yeah, no, okay. Okay, so listen up. Because again, but all those 10 slides are very important topics, but this is like a very famous one for like the regular crowd. So a centralized exchange, the biggest example, the best example we can give in the Netherlands is Bitvavo. So Bitvavo is like a cryptocurrency exchange where you can buy and sell tokens. But the problem with a centralized exchange is that you have to trust the trusted third party, so the intermediary, which is in this case is Bitvavo. Blockchain is created to remove the middleman. And now some centralized exchange is going to interfere with that by saying, hey, you can trust us, you can store your tokens with us. So the philosophy of blockchain is like a little bit strange if you buy and sell tokens on centralized exchanges. If you're doing that, then I can easily say, okay, but then you don't really understand what blockchain technology is about. Of course, what I mostly get as a response from students is that, yeah, but if I want to buy tokens for just a few euros, I'm not going to use decentralized exchanges. Why not? Like decentralized exchanges, they do not have a trusted third party. Within a decentralized exchange, and Raymond gave a great example, for example, Uniswap, but that's also like an automated market maker. That's not for now. So within a decentralized exchange, it's just an application where you can connect your wallet to, and that decentralized exchange is providing liquidity like in an automated way. So not with intermediaries. You as a user can provide liquidity as well, and you can swap the tokens. Problem with decentralized exchanges is that transactions are happening on chain. So you have to pay to use a blockchain network. With a centralized exchange, you only have to pay a few cents for transactions to pay to Bitvavo, for example. But that's happening off chain. The biggest example, which makes the biggest difference, is like with centralized exchange. You can only use when they know who you are. So you have to pass the KYC, so know your customer. So you have to send in your passport or any other ID related content. In a decentralized exchange, they don't ask you to do that. You only have to connect your wallet. Yeah, that's the biggest difference between centralized and decentralized exchanges. Jamie, excuse me, I just make someone said you asked me something. My memory is not so good. Yeah, I think I know. Yeah, you introduced yourself like with the AI voice agents. I was just wondering, do you also integrate blockchain tech with that? Or
No, so far we do not integrate blockchain.
because it's like the narrative within blockchain is currently pretty hyped up, everything AI related, but also AI agents. So I was just wondering, but it's probably better to start without blockchain tech and just focus on like the core elements. Okay, so next one. This is a tough one, and we will start week 2 as a recap with this one as well. So we will start that lecture because one of the components for your weekly materials is about the Byzantine generals problem. So about ledgers, but also about the Byzantine generals problem. So what we are going to do is we are going to watch this explanatory video and then I'm going to shortly recap it. Yeah? The Byzantine generals problem.
I'm going to explain it by using an ancient problem that Bitcoin claims to have solved. It's called the Byzantine generals problem, and until now, it's been unsolvable. The problem goes like this. How do you make absolutely sure that multiple entities which are separated by distance are in absolute full agreement before an action is taken? In other words, how can individual parties find a way to guarantee full consensus? Here's the example. Imagine that you are a general in the Byzantine army and you're planning to attack an enemy city. You have the city surrounded by several battalions, each of them camped several miles from the other, and each of them led by another general. A coordinated attack on the city from all sides at the same time will be successful, but an uncoordinated attack will likely end in defeat. You have decided to attack at dawn, but you have no walkie-talkies or cell phones, and signals from flags, torches, or smoke could be seen by the enemy. How do you make sure with absolute certainty that all of the other generals reach consensus and all attack together at dawn? You could send messengers on horseback, but what if one of them is captured or killed before delivering the message? You would need to have a reply from each of your generals confirming that they have received your message, which means that they would have to send messengers to you on horseback, but what if they are captured or killed? What if a messenger is captured by the enemy and an imposter messenger with a fake reply is sent back to you? And how do the other generals know that the messages that they received from you are genuine and haven't been intercepted and altered by the enemy? Worse yet, what if some of the other generals are traitors and they send messages back to you confirming that they will attack at dawn when their true intention is to retreat? How can you ever be absolutely certain that all of your battalions will reach consensus and attack simultaneously? Like I said, this problem has remained unsolved for thousands of years, and at its core, it's all about individual parties being able to trust each other directly, no strings attached. Bitcoin claims to have conquered this problem. Now imagine that the battalions are actually computers on a network, and that the generals are copies of a computer program running a ledger. A ledger that, via some very complex math, records transactions and events in the exact order that they happened. The key here is that all of these ledgers are exactly the same for everyone. As soon as a change is made on one copy of a ledger, if it is proven to be true by the math, all other copies of the ledger are updated to match.
So this is what they mean with distributed. So the ledger is not at one centralized place, but everybody who is going to take place as a node. So the distribution will have the exact same ledger and it's constantly updating. Every 10 minutes it will be updated with new blocks attached.
What we have here is a distributed ledger that is also always in consensus. This is one of the first things to understand about Bitcoin. It is the first full consensus distributed ledger mankind has ever seen. This network can be expanded across the entire planet. It means that individual parties on opposite sides of the world can come to consensus on an event without requiring any third party as an intermediary for trust. Whether it's an order from a general to his troops.
That's why people also say like it's a good example of utility for cross-border payments, especially if you are living in Europe, for example, right now, you're paying the things with euros, but like you want to send money back to like a country in Africa or Asia or in America, you have to switch currency. So you have to exchange currencies. And normally you have to pay a lot for that by using intermediaries. Within Bitcoin, you don't have to. You're only you can just send your Bitcoin to another wallet at the other side of the world.
Or an order from you for a pizza. A distributed ledger confirms via math whether an event is true and records it permanently. Bitcoin, the first full consensus distributed ledger, is a trust machine.
Okay, so that's about the Byzantine generals problem. Now, okay, did Bitcoin really solve this problem? No, they did not fully solve, but try, if you're going to learn more about these materials this week, to prepare an answer for after the holidays. So why did Bitcoin, like what did they solve and what did they not solve? Because it's not like 100% solved. And maybe it's too much for now, but after you read the materials. Okay, this is the last one and this is a bonus one. Just curious if somebody of you know this term, ECDSA. Is there someone without using ChatGPT, of course? So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Yes, you know. David, tell us.
Yeah, so not too much into detail, but I think it was last year I had a presentation regarding cryptography. And you were talking, sometimes you need certain numbers to solve a problem. And very important numbers when it comes to cryptography are prime numbers. And a certain way of using prime numbers is what we can see here is having these elliptic curves because they are very, very hard to predict. And this is what's happening with encryption. You try to have equations that are not easily solvable by just brute force. And this is why quantum is also linked to blockchain in a big way, because with quantum computers, it may happen that the techniques we use right now, for example, asymmetric encryption, will not longer be safe because we can solve so many more problems in 1 second than we are able right now. So and this, what we can see there is an elliptic curve that is used to make this whole process secure.
Wow. David, you're actually the first student ever who explained this with all the, now I think we already have passed 5,000 students. So you're the first one. Please
Nice.
send me a DM and I will send you some tokens. Because you also won this race by answering the last slide. Thank you. Awesome. So ECDSA stands for elliptic curve in the digital signature algorithm. And it's the algorithm behind the public and the private key pair encryption. Because when you create a wallet, your private key will be generated. And from your private key, a public key will be generated. So it's one-way reversal. From private key, a public key will be generated. But you can't recalculate it back. So it's not possible that if we have your public key, that we can recalculate your private key. So it's just one-way conversion. During the course, we will spend a little bit of information about this, but not into the nitty-gritty details. But if you are interested indeed about quantum computing and like which future problems it will have for different type of blockchain protocols, then you have to learn the basics about this as well. Like as most of the people within the world of cryptocurrency knows, like proof of work, so the system we are using and the public and private key pair encryption as well, are not sustainable for quantum computing. You have new blockchain protocols and they call themselves quantum resistant. So they have thought about algorithms which aren't crackable by quantum computers yet. And Bitcoin, of course, is also not crackable yet, but maybe in the future, when you give like certain specified tasks to quantum computer, it could be the case that like the core developers, so the ones who are working on the set of rules for Bitcoin, which could be anybody, and they have to agree on certain rules, that they have to adjust those rules. So that could also be that they maybe will change their algorithms as well. But that's something like we will see in the future. Yeah, let's first see what quantum computing will bring. Okay, so promise you this was the last slide of the quiz, and this was like very shortly, so within 1 hour, what you can expect to learn more in, of course, in a more deeply way in the coming weeks. Yeah. And maybe you find some topics very interesting, so you know, okay, if you can read about that specific topic, I want to learn more about that one. And maybe you also think some topics didn't like that at all, or it's not for me, then just learn the basics to help answering your portfolio question. Yeah. Yeah, if you have any questions, I saw it until now, you just used this chat, so I don't think there are any questions in here, right? No. Okay, so then we can go back to this one. So to recap the part about ledgers, and that's also important for your weekly portfolio. So the importance of ledgers in general, and this is just from the main theory which you are going to learn this week in your on the content, on videos and the literature. It's like ownership is an important thing for ledgers, identity, so a different status, and authority. And in the beginning of the lecture, I gave the example with my university card, for example, where we also use ledgers. So check in and check out. And when I'm checked in at the university, only then I'm able to use my card to open up college rooms, or to get some free coffee, or to use the copy machine. And if I did not check in, I don't have all those rights. Yeah. So the problem which immediately occurs with ledgers is that you also can exclude people because you don't have a card, so you don't get any free coffee. And that's a very easy example to give, but you can guess where I'm going to with ledgers. You can include and exclude people. And that are like the three main different type of risks if we talk about ledgers. So exclusion, you're not allowed in my ledger. Who decides who is allowed or not? Yeah, if you have intermediaries, they have the power to decide who is able to opt in or to opt out. If you think about that, yeah, that's being destroyed by the option of decentralized and distributed ledgers. In the case of Bitcoin, nobody is excluded. Everybody can participate. Dishonesty, yes, so the abuse of power, and of course a loss of records. Yes, that's a centralized case. That happens a lot of time, and not only loss of records, but also to get attacked by hackers. It's like a common issue nowadays. Most centralized servers are trying to get hacked like every hour of the day constantly, and it's way easier to attack a centralized point, like a centralized point of failure, instead of attacking all those distributed points across the world. So it's also a little bit more secure. Yeah, and you don't have to answer this question because I already gave you examples about this, but make notes and maybe it can help you answer in your portfolio questions. Another recap slide. So blockchain tech is ledger technology. I hope you can remember that at the end of the lecture, like if I'm going to wake you up at night, that you can, and if I ask you, okay, what is blockchain technology? You can just say, okay, blockchain technology stands for distributed, decentralized ledger, which is always in consensus. And it's to replace the middleman, so to replace the trusted third party. You don't have to trust a centralized authority, a centralized party. You trust the system, the community, all the participants, just by following a set of rules. And if you think, I don't like those rules, you can govern, you can vote and bring in a new rule. And if enough people apply with the rule, and that's like a common rule, so more than 50% of the participants, then rules can be edited. So that's what we mean with in consensus. It's your turn. Try to explain in your own words how you would describe a blockchain ledger. Okay, we're not going to use WooClap. We're going to use Discord for this one. So 2 minutes. Don't use ChatGPT. If I see any ChatGPT related stuff, you will definitely not earn some tokens. But the best answer after the lecture, I will check and will get and receive 500 tokens for this. So take your best shot and try to explain in your own words. How would you describe a blockchain ledger? So if after the lecture, maybe you're going to drink a cup of coffee or you're going to whatever you're going to do with a friend, or maybe you're going to your parents or whatever else. And they said, okay, did you learn today? I said, yeah, we learned about blockchain. And they say, blockchain, what is it? What would you say? How are you going to explain what a blockchain is, a blockchain ledger? So give it a try. 2 minutes without using ChatGPT, because that's when you're really going to ask yourself what you learned during this class. So not via WooClap, but you can just drop it here because I can immediately see your answers after the lecture. Oh, I see you already dropped a message as well. Side note, if you dropped your wallet and the grove you received your aura. Oh, nice one. Yeah, and small remember, so at the end of the miner, you will receive aura tokens as well if you are the winner of the top 3 best students with the most amount of tokens. Whoa, what's happening here? Yeah, it's kind of awesome that we are starting with this in the very first lecture, but just to give you a heads up of what you can expect. I think you already also posted out an announcement. Yeah, so this is pretty cool. That's on Tuesday, 24th of February. But back to the main. Okay. So last minute to drop your answers. Thirty seconds. And once again, I will check your answers, but after the lecture. Otherwise, you have to wait for like 10 minutes. I think our time is more valuable than that. It's pretty awesome to see you indeed are giving your own answers. I really love that instead of still using ChatGPT. So perfect. Because then I know, okay, now you're learning, you're really learning something. It's not that you're not learning anything by using AI tools, but to recap the knowledge you have learned during a lecture, why should you ask ChatGPT? Okay, so I will check it afterwards, going back to the track. And you can use those answers, of course, for your portfolio question as well. Don't copy paste an answer for someone else, because that's still a plagiarism. But try to rephrase something you like from the answers in your own words. Yeah, so we skip that one. Yeah, this is normally quite a difficult question for most of the students, like which we receive as feedback in week 2. Most commonly asked question about week 1. So we're going to help you a little bit, like how you can compare different type of blockchains. You have like a website for that. You have several, but this is like the most popular one. You also have CoinMarketCap and a few more, but This one. Am I going too fast, by the way? Do you still need more time to answer the question? Because then I will wait a minute. Let me know. Should I wait 1 more minute? I will wait 1 more minute. I see like still a few people are typing, so I will wait 1 more minute. Sorry. That's like if it's not physical. Like I can't see your face and not seeing if you're still typing. Okay, so try to drop your answers and then let's focus on the next topic because otherwise you're going to miss the next topic. Yeah, okay. Because of the time, we are going to continue. So drop what you have, otherwise try to type it at the end of the lecture. So for this portfolio question, I can recommend you to use CoinGecko. You can use other tools as well, but here you can see like all the most famous cryptocurrencies, and they listed them here to find a lot of information. Of course, I will give the most common example, which is Bitcoin. And if you want to learn more about a certain blockchain, you can just press on the token. And first of all, you can see all the financial elements, so the market cap. I'm not quite sure why it is in Dutch. I don't like to read in Dutch, so put it in English. The market cap. That's also like a lot of people are, why are you not giving this course in Dutch? To be honest, everything I learned, like the most decent articles, everything related to crypto, to blockchain, to quantum and AI is written in English, or at least not in Dutch. Like there are like very few Dutch professionals who you can learn a lot from. So that's why we're doing the course in English. Yeah, so here you learn more about the tokenomics from the coin, but that's not the main utility for today's assignment. You really want to learn more about the fundamentals and the technicals. So most cryptocurrencies created white papers, and in white papers you can find the explanation about the blockchain. Now, the white paper of Bitcoin is pretty famous because it was the first one and it's only 9 pages. For all the other cryptocurrencies, sometimes it's included 100 pages or so. But for Bitcoin, it's only 9 pages, pretty readable, and they explain the technical parts. But what you have to do for the question is you have to research 3 different blockchain protocols. So you can take Bitcoin as the first one and then try to choose 2 others and scroll the white papers and try to think with the next question, determine whether these blockchains could be suitable solutions for the problems these projects describe. So what do they say or what do they promise they are trying to solve with their blockchain? Yeah, and that depends per blockchain. Like Bitcoin has another use case, another utility than Ethereum, for example, or than Ripple or Cardano, Solana, the Sui, name it, all those types of blockchains. So is decentralization really needed? Or is a partially centralized ledger a better solution? Because it also depends per blockchain, like how decentralized the protocol is. It depends on many different components. Yeah, so CoinGecko can help you a lot by finding more information about different protocols. So once again, how to get there, CoinGecko. You press on the token and mostly they will provide you with information about the token as well. Not quite sure, like Solana is also a big one. So if you want to research Solana a bit, you can also go to Solana, go to Wallace Ledger. So I don't see a white paper. Then you go to the webs. My computer is tripping a bit. To solana.com and then probably you can find it on the main. Again, let's go to Dutch. Go away, go away, go away. English. Yeah, learn about Solana, explore the tutorials, community, news, network. Why is it? I hope you can still hear me, but my network is doing strange stuff. If you can't find directly, because my patience is not like really the best, so what I will do is just press Solana white paper, and you can also find it. That is here, you have the Solana white paper as well. But try to find that for 3 different types of cryptocurrencies. Okay. Okay, the last part. So now we're going to do the quiz, and I expect you to answer all the questions properly because most of the questions are related to what we have discussed today. Yeah, within the quiz, the top 3 students will earn tokens. The number 1 will receive 2,500 tokens. The number 2 will receive 1,500 tokens, and the number 3 will receive 1,000 tokens. At the last slide, we can see the winners, and then I will ask you again, don't forget to send me a DM, and do that please directly, not tomorrow or the day after, because otherwise you won't receive the tokens. Like after lunch, I'm going to do anything and all the administration, so it's up to you to send it directly to me. And of course, add your public key with it as well. David.
Yeah, Jamie, you said we should send the address privately to you, but where? On Discord or here?
Yeah, on Discord.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a good question, Saul. Like that one. And I can explain that as well. Like the Ethereum address is the same address as for the test networks, because the test network which we are using is called an EVM protocol, and that's an Ethereum protocol. It's based on ETH. Yes, specifically. Same as Yori's token Aura, which is on Optimism, which is also Ethereum based. If we are going to use other tokens from other chains, for Solana, for example, we will let you know. But for now, it's fully Ethereum based. So you can use the same string, the same public key for all those tokens. Yeah. Okay, so good luck. There we go. Let's see. What is a ledger? And to give a pro tip, it's not only not going about the correct answer, but also how fast you are. I see already 16 people answered. So a few more seconds. 2, 1, press a dot, press 1. Okay. To make sure, because a lot of students did not vote, and I see a lot of more students are in, so be a bit more fast. Okay, correct answer. Wow, 94%. Ledger is a tool to record transactions.
Sir.
Yeah.
I answered the question, but it says in my screen I didn't answer the question.
You have to press the button again. There's sometimes occasionally you have to do it multiple times.
Oh, okay.
So
because I got the check.
Oh, that's strange. And now?
I don't know.
Okay, let's see
It does
if it
go
works.
to the next question, so I'll try again.
But did it work with this one?
I was too late.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so the purpose of a nonce in a blockchain network. Yeah, that's the part, the extra piece of the puzzle where all the miners are going to do the calculation power, as we discussed during the lecture, to find the valid hash for a block. Yeah, that's quite a good percentage, 41. You're a pretty damn good group, guys. So far. Next question. What is a fully centralized ledger? Okay, did it work out, Raymond? Could you?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Wow, 17 are correct. Yes, in a fully centralized ledger, one entity, mostly party, has control over the ledger. Yes, indeed. What is not a property of a decentralized ledger? So note what is, but what is not. Faster, faster, faster. 3, 2, 1. Otherwise, just guess. Yes, access is limited for public. No, yeah, it's like with a decentralized ledger, access is limited. Is not limited. Everybody can participate. Well, we mentioned this term a few times. Also, I think it was David, not quite sure, who also mentioned his name. At the beginning of the lecture it was. And later on I did it as well 2 times. So you should know. I will also explain the others, by the way. Yes, Satoshi Nakamoto. And Nick Samo is also important in relationship to cryptocurrencies. He's the inventor, the creator of smart contracts. Vitalik Buterin is the creator of Ethereum. Ryuichi Sakamoto is just a fake name. Yeah, maybe he exists, but we just thought it up. And Hal Finney was actually the very first person, was the owner of the wallet who received the first Bitcoin. So we can know, okay, that Hal Finney knows the creator of Bitcoin, but we can't ask Hal Finney anymore because he is not with us anymore. So next one. So how many Bitcoins will be created? Yeah, 21 million. And I always explain this after this slide. I will explain a nice thing, which you can maybe tell at a birthday party or whenever people are discussing the 20. I'm not quite sure if that still happened these days, but in bull markets, that was quite often the case. Like, this answer is not 100% true, though. Everywhere you read about 21 million tokens, and we even learn you 21 million tokens as well, but it is 21,999,999.9999 till the end. And that's because of some programmability. So it's not exactly 21 million. So if you want to impress other blockchain students, or it's just a funny thing to add. Yeah. But for the rest of the course, we will learn you it's 21 million, but it's not exactly, you know now. So when did the very first block came up? When did that take place? This is always a difficult one because in 2008 the white paper was released, so which we just checked to get more information. But in 2009 the very first Bitcoin has been mined, or is being mined. Yeah, 2009. We're almost finished, ladies and gentlemen. Few more questions. Everybody can still win. What are the main risk categories of centralized ledgers? Select all correct answers. Yes, dishonesty, exclusion, and loss of records. Yeah. The abbreviation TTP means. I expect a 100% here. Otherwise, you were doing something different during this part of the lecture. Mentioned this so many times. Come on. Oh, only 47%. Oh my God. Trusted third parties, TTP, the intermediary. Like that's the problem of centralized systems nowadays, that we trust third parties. So we remove the middleman, we remove those trusted third parties. And Bitfavo, for example, is a trusted third party. Yeah. Oh, I expected a better, more percentages here, but never mind. Then it's probably my explanation, right? What is the process called to create new Bitcoins? Okay, here then, 100%. We can do it. I know there's one student who was going to give the wrong answer on purpose. We don't get the 100% fully correct. Okay, there we go. See, I know. No, two students. No, okay. I take that. Mining, yes. And Ethereum, that's the second biggest blockchain. You also have a process like for creating new tokens, but that's minting. And we will learn you during the course, but not for now. Minting is also for NFTs. Yeah, indeed, Dennis. But also the process for Ethereum is also called minting. This was the last question. Okay, so let's see. Congratulations, Siga. You have 1,000 tokens. Bruno, 1,500 tokens. And May, 2,500 tokens. Send me a DM immediately. Screenshot this one. And then also add your public key. Yeah. And then after the lunch, I'm going to send you the first tokens. I'm also going to check the answers and the interactions from during the lecture, so you can also earn some tokens for that. And after I send you all the tokens, I'm going to share a link where you can easily check like all your wallets and to see the amount of tokens you hold, and you can compare it to the rest of the students. Okay, so let me see what I will do. Yeah, this was like the end of the first lecture. It's pretty good schedule, by the way, exactly 2 hours. Before you are leaving, the amount of points is zero. Oh, really? I did. Oh, but Dancy was probably faster, so I don't know how they calculate that. Sorry, but yeah, you're out of the top three. I have to be strict on that one. What did I want to say? Oh yeah, because I received a few questions about the excellent track. So if you're interested, if you have questions, then please stay for a few more minutes. And for all the others, I already want to wish you a wonderful holiday next week, because I'm not going to see you anymore this week. It was my last lecture. I hope you had fun and you learned a few more things about blockchain and generally mostly today. And good luck trying to finish your weekly portfolio. Bye.
Bye, thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you, Jamie.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.